Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you like Neil Malpay. He's kind of our, I don't know, our mascot of shithousery is how we like to call him. How do you feel about Neil Malpay?
As an Arsenal fan, I can't stand him. So he's
I'm happy to
always.
introduce Devin Pugh, the Director of Community Outreach for the Annapolis Blues. Welcome on the show, Devin.
Thanks so much for having me. Very excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk a bit about your background too, because I've looks like you've been working in sports for a little bit in the DMV. You're originally from Baltimore, Maryland. Is that correct?
I am Baltimore born and raised and still a current resident. So yeah.
Nice. Did you play youth soccer growing up?
Believe it or not, I didn't play at a high level. I tell people I wasn't skillfully blessed enough to play soccer at any kind of like real level outside of like intramurals or recreationally with the friends. It's been more of just a spectator passion for me that's really just grown into, like I said, my passion and what I wanted to do in life.
Yeah, so I saw on the Blues website, it looked like you came in around the 2010 World Cup, right?
Around working in sports, yes. But I have vivid memories of watching like the 98 World Cup. Like I remember that. So yeah, I've been in and out of the soccer world. Like I said, with the 98 World Cup, it really wasn't until around 2003, 2004-ish. I was around high school that I really fell in love with soccer. I always think one of my friends growing up, his name is Brandon. We used to just always hang out, play video games. So of course, here, in the United States, soccer's not a big thing. He had more culture than I did at the time. So we would always play, the regular video games, the Maddens, the NBA Lives, but he also had FIFA. And so just playing with FIFA growing up, he was, man, I'm going to beat you with Thierry Henry. And I'm like, I have no idea who Thierry Henry is. So just playing. And of course, he would always beat me. Thierry Henry he would always, score all the goals with me on me. And then just from playing FIFA to actually, we would actually start watching the games and just Thierry Henry, he's it. Like he's the best player in the world right now. And just sticking with that, falling in love with him. Obviously, he played for Arsenal at the time, so fell in love with him, fell in love with Arsenal, and I've just been a fan ever since.
It's crazy in the interviews that we do how often FIFA is the start of people's soccer fandom. It's constantly a theme.
Absolutely, yeah. I pretty much owe it all to FIFA, and yeah, it's very common, especially on this side of the pond, how it helps people grow and continues to help people learn more about the game to this day. So very fortunate.
Yeah, it's also interesting too. I'm a late convert to soccer. I grew up playing basketball mainly. Then 2010 World Cup was kind of where I became interested. Then 2014 World Cup is really where I started to really watch the game, and then I just picked Tottenham. They were in a good run of form, I think, with that Champions League run era and Pochettino's early years. But now I suffer for my fandom. But
yeah, indeed,
the game, I absolutely love it. Which brings me a little bit to some of your background. I do want to definitely talk the Blues because you guys got a lot going on.
Absolutely.
But it looked like you started your sports journey, I guess, with 105.7 The Fan out in Baltimore.
Yes.
What was that job like?
Yes. So yeah, started there. They are the flagship Baltimore sports station. They were the flagship station of the Orioles at the time and the Maryland Terrapins. And then, of course, they did a lot with the Ravens coverage. So I pretty much started off as an assistant for the radio station. I was helping all the account executives. It was a heavy kind of sales role. So I was helping a lot of the sales, account executives with their campaigns. I was building campaigns. I was building radio spots. I was kind of doing it all. So it was nice to kind of get that exposure and get that experience, just learning about the industry. And I was able to, do a lot with, with the teams as well, with the Maryland Terrapins, with the Baltimore Ravens, and of course the Baltimore Orioles, as they were the flagship stations of them at the time. So yeah, a lot of sales experience in that sense. And yeah, just kind of, that's how I got my foot in the door essentially.
It seems like a lot of the entry level roles are in that account executive inside sales realm. Is that right?
I would say that's definitely the easiest. And to anybody listening that is looking to get into the sports industry, that's definitely going to be the easiest way to get your foot in the door. Ticket sales, inside sales. People are always looking to, your teams or organizations are always looking for sales roles to be filled. So if you are looking to just even get the experience, get your foot in the door, I would always say, if you're serious about it, go try it out. And you can always kind of maneuver your way around, of course, as long as you learn the skills necessary to excel in sales, and then you can kind of progress from there. But that's always going to be the easiest way to get your foot in for sure.
Gotcha. So from 105.7 The Fan, looks like you worked for the Orioles in corporate partnerships for a bit.
Yes.
2017 for.
Yes. That was the last season that they had Machado. So of course, since with being 105.7 was the flagship station of the Orioles, I actually had one of my good friends that I worked with at the Fan. He had moved over to the Orioles, and he had let me know of this position that had opened up with them. And so it was just a very easy, it was an easy progression over to the Orioles directly. So yeah.
So then after that, it looks like you then kind of made your first transition into the soccer realm, being part of the DC United street team. But this was in the COVID year, right? 2020.
Yes. So yeah, very excited about that. It was it was so much going on with that. I was on the street team for DC United, right as everything kicked off.
Yeah.
So we had maybe 2 or 3 games, and then everything kind of shut down from there. So it was so much happening at once, and then nothing happened. So I was very fortunate for those, for the times there. And yeah, it was just so much happening. And it was like, as stuff is starting to start progressing, the ball is really starting to roll, it came to a sudden halt. But still, yeah, made a lot of great contacts, and just you had to do what you had to do to survive.
It's crazy to think that that's like 5 years ago at this point to start.
Yeah,
it seems like it just happened.
it
We've got
does.
all these podcast episodes from those days. It's just like time capsules where it's kind of nice to interact with people. It's like when Zoom was starting to blow up a little bit, like March 2020, April 2020. But I'm glad things have thought out, and fans are allowed in stands at this point.
Absolutely, yes.
But from the DC United street team, did you go to Washington Spirit right after that, or did you do? Was that the move from DC United to the Spirit?
So of course, with the pandemic, I did have another job. It was outside of sports, to pay the bills,
Yeah.
and still make things happen. But during that time, it was a work from home from job as well, luckily. But I did, during that time as well, I did, of course, soccer is my passion. I knew I still wanted to work in soccer. I knew I still had so much to give. And so long time fan of the Spirit, long time women's sports supporter. I've been supporting women's sports, and just to even like age myself, when Sports Illustrated for Kids, the magazine, we used to get magazine subscriptions. I was a avid Sports Illustrated for Kids subscriber, and they used to always talk about women's sports in the magazine just as much as they talked about men's sports. So I always thank them for just that exposure in that sense, because just growing up, there was never any differentiation to me. I followed the women's sport just as heavily as I followed the men's sport. So with that, yeah, I've been a longtime Spirit fan. Of course, another local team, and they had some openings, and yeah, started with them in 2022. So very excited to have been with them.
Gotcha. And then it also looked like, which is super fascinating to me, you were part of the Baltimore DC World Cup bidding process with FIFA. I'm
Yes.
fascinated by, tell me a little bit about what you did, and then tell me like when FIFA came and visited, what that experience was like, kind of showing around the cities and everything.
That was a once in a lifetime opportunity. It was absolutely crazy. I got, of course, just being the passionate soccer fan that I am. I just once I found out about everything that we Baltimore is hosting a bid to host games for the 2026 World Cup, the greatest sports event in the entire world. I instantly reached out to whoever I could to try to be a part of it. It was being led by the Maryland Sports Commission, so very thankful to them. I did lead any kind of marketing and street team events for the bid. So a lot of what we did was we would go into Baltimore around the Orioles, around the Ravens Stadium, around M&T Bank before Ravens games, and we would have a tent out there on Ravens Walk, letting people know about the bid, that games have an opportunity to be played right here at M&T Bank. So it was a lot of excitement around that. This once in a lifetime opportunity has the chance to come here to Baltimore. Yes. Gianni Infantino came here to Baltimore. That was very crazy. It was I remember that day pretty much like it was yesterday. Just a very, very early morning. I think we were I was up 3:30, 4:30 in the morning because we had things around the city that we had to like kind of set up and get ready for that. So we were literally all around downtown Baltimore setting up things, and they
So
had a nice
basically like
little
showing them what the city's capable of doing as far as
exactly. Exactly. So yeah, a lot of fun times with that. Hosted some watch parties. This was the same year as the Olympics, the 2022 Olympics.
Gotcha.
We had a lot of like watch parties, especially for like the women's games. Of course, this was in Australia, if I remember at the time. So like the games were also at like 4:30 in the morning. So we would be downtown, and bars would be open. We were hosting watch parties at the time for bars, and people would come, and it was just an awesome time to just be a part of that and just see the excitement around the city for such a potential event.
Yeah, I mean, M&T, I saw USMNT play Cuba in a Gold Cup game at M&T probably 10 years ago at this
I
point.
think I was there as that. I was there for that as well. I remember that. And we beat them pretty handily, and Clint Dempsey, I believe, had a hat trick. If this
Yes,
was
yeah, I think it was like 6-0 by halftime already.
yeah, I remember that. That was a fun time. I really enjoyed that.
I was disappointed to hear that Baltimore DC didn't ultimately get selected, even though it's one of the as hotbed areas for soccer in the country. But did they give the committee specific reasons why it wasn't selected, or what kind of feedback?
I'm sure they did to the higher ups on the committees, on the committee. But kind of, I mean, we can all kind of speculate. I don't want to, name drop people who may have been responsible, probably some past owners of other DC organizations, I believe, played a major part in it, through my speculation. But yeah, it's frustrating, of course, just everything that we had to go through. I thought it was just merging with DC's bid. I thought that really just gave everything a chance.
In the
So how
nation's
that
capital, you think,
we
yeah.
would I believe this is the only, I think there may have been one other a long time ago where the host country is not having games in its capital. So yeah, very upsetting. I believe how it would have worked. The games would have actually been held here at M&T Bank, and then trainings and everything else, housing for the teams and everything would have been held in DC. So made perfect sense. Just with the maintenance of the stadium, of how well M&T Bank is built. And again, it would have been a once in a lifetime opportunity. But congrats to all the other cities that did make it. I believe the closest one to us is Philly, and then of course the final will be in New Jersey. So still not too far away, honestly. Philly's about an hour and a half drive from here, and then New Jersey's maybe like 3 hours. So
3.5. Yeah, my parents live right by the Jersey venue, so I'm getting to a game somehow. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it yet.
Same. There we go. Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We just know we're going. So, yeah, very frustrating though. But I'm sure, of course, like I said, the higher ups did have specifics around it. But I just kind of walked away with the feeling of defeat, and just know that we we put our best foot forward and did everything we could to make it happen.
I mean, it's a unique experience, and I'm sure you've got contacts for the 2026 World Cup. There's going to be so many things going on, and you have that. You have those contacts now. So
absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about the Blues project, and I'm kind of curious when you first became aware of it, and then how you ended up joining the project.
Yeah, so I was aware of the Blues when they first launched, just obviously as a huge, soccer fan. Of course, any team kind of being launched around the DMV, I'm very excited about, just to see the growth in the area all around. I see you have your Bobcats hoodie on.
Big Bobcats guy
over here. Huge admirer. I have a lot of friends there as well. So very familiar with a lot of the teams. I was very familiar with the Blues. I got my first actual interaction with my coworkers now was at a foot golf tournament that we hosted. I got to give a personal shout out to a good friend of mine, a good friend of the Blues. His name is Jim Inser. He's a huge DMV soccer advocate. I knew him through the Spirit, and he connected me with the Blues. So we were at a foot golf tournament for the MS Society. They do a lot for Dave Johnson, who has MS. So we at the Spirit, we were a host organization, a partner organization, and then so are the Blues. So this was my first time actually like getting connected with the Blues and meeting my GM, Fred Mathis, my assistant GM, Stephen Hooper, at the time. That was my first time actually interacting with them. And then about not even a few months later, actually, Jim let me know that this position here with the team, director of community outreach, was open. So he's just been so well connected, and like he's just been such a great friend of mine, just of soccer, and I will always just make sure to give him his flowers for all that he does in the community. And he let me know the position, and he gave me, Fred's information again, and we all talked, and it just felt like a perfect match, and I've been extremely happy ever since. So,
I mean, it's such a cool project, and so director of community outreach. It seems like the Blues in general just do such a good job of getting out there. Can you describe your role as director of community outreach and like kind of the events that you guys target to get lower leagues, like get your name out there? Because there's so much, I feel like everyone could learn from the Blues, because you're filling stands with 11,000 people, which is unheard of, as we know of, in the 4th division of U.S. soccer.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I always say that it takes conscious effort from multiple parties to build the community that we have here at the Blues. So, of course, just me being the director, I get a lot of the credit for it, but I can't take all of the credit. It really takes So it's been the work of so many people, even before I even came here, that have helped to build this community. Annapolis has just been such a hotbed of soccer, and it was a community that was just really calling for a team. And so just even since the team announced itself, it's just been such heavily embraced all around. So very thankful for that. And then just being my background and my skills, I'm very passionate about growing the game of soccer, and I've just seen the fruits of building community through soccer. So I'm very passionate about it. And so what I do is just make sure that the Blues, as much as the impact that they are making on the soccer pitch, that they're making just as big an impact off the soccer pitch as well. And that especially starts with leading our Kicks for Kids program, which is an initiative that we started just last year, where we help fund we give tickets essentially to underserved youth in the area where they get to attend Blues matches for free. So we partner with a lot of organizations and nonprofits in the area, Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, just, a couple off the top of my head. And we give these kids these opportunities to come to these matches so that they can continue to be inspired by the game, so they continue to have something to shoot for. They can, they see these people that have made it to a high level of soccer, and they can continue to be inspired by that. Just making sure that our players are getting the recognition that they properly deserve as well. As And I say it all the time, as good as our players are on the pitch, they are even better people off of the pitch. I will always advocate for our players and their character and their willingness to be out and about in the community. Anytime that we have events going on, when our players are in season and they're here, they are jumping for opportunities to be out and about, whether it's going to clinics with youth clubs or anything else. We've partnered with, for example, Anne Arundel Food Bank, and they've had like mobile food banks where they've come out to help with food. We've partnered with organizations like Leveling the Playing Field, where they clean the warehouses for used sports equipment that they flip and give to underserved youth as well. And our players are just always very excited to give back, and they do it all the time, and they always say, like, this used to be us, we used to be these kids, so we have no problem giving back in the same sense. So it's never a problem to have our players be a part of anything. So I'm very excited for just the work that they've done and continue to do on and off the pitch.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's no secret in American soccer that pay to play creates this gap where underrepresented communities don't get the opportunity to see this type of thing. So it's awesome to see that the Blues are so involved in that kind of those kind of activities in the community. So what are some of the events that you guys have planned for the upcoming season that gets you excited? I know you guys do Midnight Madness in Annapolis on Thursday nights, and
Yes, no, Midnight Madness is so fun. It's we did that all in December, and we froze. We froze. It was so cold. But it's such a great opportunity to kind of meet the hardcore fans, and to really get in touch with them, and have a chance to speak with them, just their excitement, especially with the announcement of our women's team. Now they've been so excited just to talk with us. We've had our GMs out there. We've had both Fred Mathis, our men's GM, and Jim Gabera, our women's GM. They've both been out there and kind of give people that chance to meet Jim, who we just announced right before we did Midnight Madness, and talk with him, and he can kind of share his vision for the women's team. So we really want to make sure that we are a club of the community, that anything that we do that's majorly important, that the community has a chance to be a part of it. Even comes down to our jersey selection, our kit selection. We always, every year we've done it, where our season ticket members get to choose the jersey that we wear, our kit that we wear on the soccer pitch. So we're very excited about that. We do a lot with like our red and blue soccer match that we have pregame before one of our matches with the police versus the fire department.
Cool.
That's
Yeah.
something that we've had annual tradition that we've had that's been very awesome. We do a lot with like Father's Day. Before our match on Father's Day, we have like a dads on the pitch kind of event where you can go on the pitch before the match and kick the ball around and take photos. There's just so much that happens in the blues community, and it's awesome just to see how embraced it is, and just to be a part of it and just be a witness of it is just so awesome.
Yeah, so last year, I've followed the Blues for a long time. I actually did an interview with Fred back in 2022, but you guys scheduled a friendly against my beloved Bobcats last year, and I got to experience the tailgating and the atmosphere of the Blues games. And I am now a season ticket holder for both the men's and women's team. But I want to double click on the women's team for a bit to let people know they're playing in the USL-W, which is it's a pre-professional league, so it's kind of like USL League 2 in that it's amateur players in their off season, mainly college Division 1. But can you tell me about how USL-W came about and some of the plans in forming that women's team and some of the excitement around the team coming up for this upcoming 2025 season?
Absolutely. It was a question that we've been getting essentially from day one, is especially once the success that we've had in our first season, just winning trophies, is just with the times, right? When are we getting a women's team? When are we getting a women's team? And again, the DMV is just such a hotbed for women's sports. It was essentially a no-brainer. And so we're very thankful here in our third season to announce that. And with that announcement is just there's been so much excitement. Like I said, we have Jim Gabera, who is our women's GM. He is a former national team player. And we also have announced Ashley Kennedy as our head coach. She's been an amazing DMV coach around the area for a long time. We're very excited about that. And just with the W League, it gives us with the success of the W League so far as well. They're a fairly new league, but it gives us opportunities to continue to get nationwide coverage that I think our players rightfully deserve. Just with the success of the team, with the success with the players that we bring in, it really gives that exposure to our players that are looking to eventually turn pro. Of course, we have great stories that we can already tell, like with Jacob Morrell, who played with us year one, who now plays for DC United. We are looking to just give our players the best opportunity to succeed in no matter what it takes, and just with the national attention that we bring in, especially just of course like last season finishing as the number one team in the country. It really gives our players that opportunity for exposure if they are looking to one day be professionals. So very excited about it, looking forward to it. Jim and Ashley are great, and just kind of listening to their plan for growth and development I'm very excited about it, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Tyler Gabera from he's a
Yes.
Bobcats player. I interviewed him not so long ago, and then realized his family had all this U.S. soccer pedigree.
All these accolades, correct.
The reason I saw you guys announce Jim Gabera as the GM of the women's team, and then I Googled him. I was like, oh wait, he's probably connected to Tyler. I know Tyler.
Small world.
Yeah, so USL is an exciting league for a couple different reasons. We have the Super League launched, which is a women's Division 1 league that might eventually rival NWSL. And then, like you said, USL-W is exciting, and that this is lower division now where women have the opportunity to play in front of fans in the off season. But you guys also on the men's side switched from MPSL Mid-Atlantic last year to USL League 2. Can you give us a sense of how that switch happened? Was it part of forming the women's team that you eventually went into USL League 2 and can you just give us some of the background
Yeah,
behind
no, believe it or not, it's actually two separate things. It wasn't like a package deal or anything like that. It was just really, again, the opportunity called for it, especially, again, just capitalizing off of our success. It's really all about our players and making sure that they are in the best opportunity, they're in the best positions to succeed when, for the next level. So, of course, the NPSL has been awesome. They are an amazing league, and all props to them. They've been so great to the Blues. We've been very fortunate to be a part of the league, and it's just an opportunity that came about again that allows our players to really get that national exposure, and another opportunity to proceed at the next level. There's a ton of stories of players that have been in the USL, the USL League Two, especially, where they have been able to go on and have pro careers. So just really looking to take advantage of those opportunities, take advantage of our success, and just continue to grow. So it wasn't like a package deal. Okay, we're founding the women. Can we bring the men on too? There were there were just talks of continuing to grow and how can we continue to build on our success, and this opportunity came about and we were just very excited to to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's neat. It's also neat in NPSL Mid-Atlantic to see the success of the Blues kind of, I think it lifted up the entire Mid-Atlantic region of NPSL. You have like Virginia Dream coming out, Alexandria Reds, and I didn't really know these teams until I heard of Annapolis Blues first. So I'm excited to see, another famous DMV team, Christos FC.
Absolutely.
It'll be a local rivalry down the road. But what are some of the other teams? I think you guys are playing in the Chesapeake division for USL League 2.
I believe so. Yeah. So there are a lot of teams and there's more to come is all I can really say. Is there's more to come. So there's a lot, there's more teams coming, and so I believe, as much as I can say, there's still shifting things around and still determining what's who's going to happen where and so
Sure.
on.
There's a lot of movement in that Division 4 between League for Clubs, NPSL, and
absolutely, yeah. There's and that's why I like the USL is just there. The opportunities for growth are just so limitless, and just the more that they can grow, the more teams that they can bring, the more that they can kind of shift things around and continue to build competition, and make sure that, of course, that teams stay as local as possible without having to go, cross country, so on and so forth. But I know a lot of the teams based in the area, I believe, as of right now, like Virginia Beach would probably be the furthest south that we would have to go as of right now. So yeah, we'll see. Keep your eyes open and look out for the schedule coming out in a few months.
Yeah, so you guys should have, it looked like 10 to 14 games, similar to the MPSL season. So I'm looking forward to, tailgating. I'm looking forward to bringing my two girls out to the women's games for the first time.
Awesome.
It's going to be an exciting summer.
Yeah.
Any other final thoughts on the Blues that you want to get off your chest? And then we'll talk about 5 minutes Arsenal, and I'll get you out of here.
No, yes, just very excited about the Blues, everything that's coming. Thankful for the community that we've built. Thank you for the fans. It's just been so awesome to be here, just to see how excited people are just about the Blues in general, not even just the men, but especially now that we've announced the women. I mean, just the community that's been built, the excitement around it, and I'm just excited. I'm looking forward to the growth and just continuing to just build on it all. I'm very excited to see where it all goes, and I'm happy to have a front row seat to all of it, to the community, to the championships, the trophies, all the above. So
I would say, like, I love how your season ticket prices are structured. They're super affordable for families. If you order early enough, you can always get a free kit, which is, that's a killer deal.
We really try to make sure, like, as I said before, that we are a club of the community, and that they, everybody has a say on everything. We want to make it a family environment. So it is we do that on purpose with our prices to make sure that it is affordable for families. I mean, people have, a family of 5 that want to come to a game that don't want to break the bank. Well, here they can come see us. They can come see high level soccer at a price that's affordable to them. So very excited about it. We really do want to make sure, we drive a point home that these are affordable prices, that we really want to make sure that families get to enjoy games without breaking the bank.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly feels like a professional environment when you go, and my girls love lower league soccer just because probably brainwashed them into
There
it.
you go, right? Didn't have a choice.
So the Navy, so Navy hosted Wolves Palace, I think, this summer.
Yes, it was.
Are the Blues involved in that, and then like bringing the Prem teams over?
No, actually, that was actually well, we helped promote it. We were part of we did help the organization that does bring the teams over, just due to the partnership, due to the venue, due to the the partnership. We did help them promote the match, but no, we weren't directly responsible for it. But we did get to enjoy that, and it was cool to see a top level soccer match played right here in Annapolis. So
Yeah.
I do believe that's something that we're going to look forward to for next season as well. So yeah, keep an eye out.
Yep, super excited for the season. And just to touch on Arsenal a little bit, what are you guys looking at in the transfer window? I think you need a number 9.
Yeah, there's a lot of tired legs. There's a lot of hurt legs, especially up front right now. I think if we're serious, and I always kind of quote, you heard, like, for example, Phil Foden saying, like, we know the league is done, like we know that we're not going to win the league. And I like to quote that Dion Waiters quote, like, I'd rather go 0 for 29 than to go 0 for 6, because that means I stopped shooting, and I gave up confidence.
Yeah.
As long as there's a chance, go for it, right? So I think if we're going to be serious, we definitely need to get a 9 in the door. Most recently, I've been hearing Cunha from Wolves. Speaking of them, he's looking like he's trying to, quote unquote, force a deal. So I like him a lot.
I thought I saw Forrest agreed with him this morning, but maybe
we'll see. I haven't been up on my media lately today, but we'll see what happens. I think we're going to, try to, pull a levy, for lack of a better term, to, to get somebody in the door for January. I know we actually have some signings done for the summer, but those were already kind of long-term deals that were happening. So this one is definitely more short-term. So we'll see. I would like to see somebody like Cunha. Of course, we had like Gyökeres, and who else have I heard? I've heard Marcus Rashford. We'll see how that goes.
He needs a change of scenery, that guy.
Yeah, he definitely needs it.
Anyone take him.
I think, yeah, he could take a change of scenery. He's somebody that obviously we've seen do exceptionally well. But yeah, and it happens. Players do need a change of scenery. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens when we get in the door. Cody Sesko is another one I've heard. So we'll see what happens. We got what? It's the 22nd, so what, another week or so, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think you still got 16 games left. You're about 6 points off the top, so there's still plenty of seasons.
There's opportunities. I think the draw over the weekend, it was I wish we hadn't. Of course, we definitely have to be on our P's and Q's. But Liverpool is showing signs of kind of crumbling there.
City kind of waking up, which nobody likes.
Right. We'll see what happens with them. So there is a chance still for us to take it. Of course, we kind of have to be, almost perfect. And of course we need, help from the rest of the field, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, long season. You still in Champions League,
Still FA Cup, Champions League,
Carabao Cup. That's right.
We got knocked out of the FA Cup.
You did?
Yes, but Carabao Cup, it's not looking good. We're down 0-2 to Newcastle. So we got knocked. So we still have the second leg to go. Champions League, we actually play later today, Dynamo Zagreb. So we're in the top 8 position. Yeah. So top 8 position there, and we'll just see if we can get somebody in the door. I think we can make some decent pushes. So we'll see. That's why we watch.
Yeah, gotta love Prem, and yeah, a lot of exciting things coming up. Thanks so much for talking with us, Devin. Yeah, look forward to seeing you at the Blues games this summer.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah, all right. Take it easy.
Have a good one.
All right, you too.